plant a multiple budded fruit tree. This is a 5-in-1 fruit salad. Very, very popular variety for home garden. It gives you a lot of variety in less space. And that's easy to understand what the benefit is going to be. In this case, we have an apricot, a plum, a peach, and a nectarine all on one tree. This is pretty amazing. When we're planting a multiple budded fruit tree, we're always going to want to look at where the most vigorous varieties are growing. Because one of the #1 reasons that people lose multiple budded or a variety on a multiple budded fruit tree is due to shading out. So we're going to take and make sure that these two, the plum and this peach variety, are planted to the southern exposure so they get maximum sunlight. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that none of these other varieties, while they're growing, actually dominate the canopy. We're going to want to cut these back during the summertime when they're vigorously growing if they try to overtake these two weaker varieties. It's easy to determine which one the weaker ones are because they're the smaller caliper ones in comparison to the other varieties. When we plant, what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't cover it any higher than where it was in the nursery row. So here we're going to have a little bit of a color change between where the soil line was in the nursery row and where the tree grew above that. So what we're going to want to do is make sure that we cover right up to that point on the tree. Tamp it down real good to get all the oxygen out, get all the air pockets out of the soil. When you choose a multiple bud, this tree is already been pruned off at the knee. As you can see, the first variety begins right here at my knee. And so we're going to look at this tree just like we would a mid-season tree in terms of how we're going to cut it back. We're going to cut back the tree, the more vigorous ones by about half. And these less vigorous ones, we may decide not even to prune them back depending on how weak they are. And I'm actually going to eliminate all these broken old limbs, and I'm going to let this tree re-push completely. And I'm leaving this weaker variety just because I'm going to decide how much I'm going to cut it back last. Now this one here, it's not in bad shape as far as its size is concerned. Now on this one, as small as it is, and then we've got this odd limb right out here, I'm probably going to just take that off. Take that off like that. In the summertime, immediately as soon as it pushes in this area here, I'm probably going to come back and I'm probably going to cut, be exact, and I'll cut that out right there. One of the biggest complaints you hear about multiple buds is that, one variety dies, or one variety dominates. Well, of course, keeping the domination part down is easy. All you do is never let any one variety dominate. You prune it whenever, summertime, wintertime, whenever you see it taking over the canopy of the tree, you prune that more aggressive variety back. When you're taking and planting a tree, drainage has to be your #1 consideration, and that's going to cut down on the possibility of having disease affect some of these varieties like can occur. This is a good mound that is going to create a great buffer zone of oxygen. It's going to cut down the probabilities of having some of those more prevalent diseases. Again, facing these buds, these weaker buds towards the southwest will increase their sunlight exposure and make it less likely that we're going to lose these due to weak growing. So that's another main reason for losing a variety as well.
The #1 reason that people lose fruit trees is overwatering. It's your responsibility to consider the needs of your fruit trees in your specific geographic area and your specific soil type. So don't overwater, mulch right, irrigate right, and consider it your personal responsibility.